presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are South.
They are the reason we're allowed our freedom and safety in the greatest country in the world. The men and women of the armed forces sacrifice their lives so that we can have ours. Sent to foreign countries, away from their family, friends, and loved ones, they protect and stand for everything that makes this country great. And in a word, they're heroes. So today, we at Fox Sports South would like to thank the men and women that protect our freedoms every day. Join us as we celebrate and recognize these great heroes on our Tribute to the Troops this Sunday afternoon. We salute you for what you do for the United States of America. Our calendar turns to the month of July. It's a hot day for baseball, and our final look at the Washington Nationals as the Braves and Nats play the third, final, and rubber game of our three-game series. And what a way to begin July with our tribute to the troops. They've come from far and wide to meet in Atlanta at Turner Field for a red carpet reception and a big crowd gathering to salute the men and women of our armed forces as we do battle on the baseball field here in Atlanta. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Along with Joe Simpson and Tom Glavine, I'm Chip Carey. Tom Hart will be along in just a few minutes. And, fellas, what a way to wrap up this series with the Nationals. A great tribute to the men and women of the military.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity and a humbling one as well to be able to honor these men and women who serve our country and serve it so proudly and so wonderfully. So it's hats off to them. I know it's something that I certainly appreciate.
And it's one of my favorite days now with Fox Sports South and the Braves collaborating on this tribute to the troops, so it should be a wonderful day.
And they've got a great baseball game to enjoy. We hope Tim Hudson pitching for the Braves, Gio Gonzalez, an all-star, going to the mound for the Nationals.
Yeah, Gio Gonzalez having a great year, as you mentioned, just named to the all-star team, so I know he's excited about that. 10-3 on the season with a 2.78 ERA in 15 starts, so look for what we talked a little bit about yesterday. Not too many opportunities to score some runs, but hopefully Huddy can counteract that.
And Tim Hudson has pitched well against the Washington Nationals in his career. He's 14-4 against them lifetime. He's coming off a great start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who came to Atlanta red hot. But Tim worked 8 innings, only gave up 1 run, and that was on a home run to Jason Kubel. And you're seeing some of his 7 strikeouts in that performance. Today, he's certainly going to have to manage his game because of the heat, but he's accustomed to doing that.
This is a swing game for the Braves and Nationals. If Atlanta can win it, they would be just 2.5 games behind Washington. Let's see if they can do that here at home. The sweltering heat and humidity is on, and so's our ball game. It's the Braves and it's Washington, and the lineups at first pitch are coming right up. We welcome you back to Atlanta for Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South. Our game today is brought to you by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers. Make every Sunday a Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South. Another good crowd gathering on a sticky and blistering hot day in Atlanta. The Braves hope to take 2 out of 3 from the Washington Nationals, who feature Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, and a red-hot Michael Morse. 2, 3, and 4 for skipper Davey Johnson.
They'll be facing the Braves ace right-hander Tim Hudson, 6-3 on the year, 4-1 in his, 3-1 in his last 4 starts, all in the month of June. So as the weather has heated up, so has Tim Hudson, and look for that trend to continue today. He's pitched well against the Nationals.
Steve Lombardozzi's the leadoff man, playing second base today. An off day for Danny Espinosa. And a quick strike, says Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire.
4 keys to pitching success. First versus the Nats. First inning was a problem for him the last time he faced him. He gave up 4 runs in the first inning. And the 3-piece suit. No, he's not wearing one, but the Braves have a, call it an ice vest that they've kept refrigerated, frozen, that he will put on between innings to keep cool. It slips over the top of his head, fits on his chest and his back. He'll sit down in the tunnel, take in some liquids, and try to stay cool that way.
And here's why. This is as big a story as it was yesterday. The weather in Atlanta, brutally hot. 101 degrees the official temperature, but you see down on the field, a little warmer than that, and yes, sweltering. A drive deep right center off the bat of Lombardozzi, and that's going to bounce off the top of the fence, and Lombardozzi stops at second with a leadoff double.
Seems to me that's the way the game started yesterday, with Espinosa and a double.
A high sinker there. The pitch before that got away from Huddy and tried to come back with it and make the adjustment, and he didn't get it where he wanted to, belt high, and belt high sinkers never where you want to see Huddy throwing his.
So Bryce Harper, the batter. Harper 1 for 10 so far in the series, but had a productive at bat in the first inning. Remember, it was his ground ball that got Espinosa to third and led to the first Washington run in the game.
After he gave up that 4-run first against the Nationals, he retired 17 of the next 19 he faced and pitched well, but still took the loss 7-4.
Little roller. Dan Uggla charges. Glove flip. Can't make the play, and all hands are safe. First and third with nobody out for Washington. A hit for Harper.
That had trouble written on it as soon as it was apparent that Tim Hudson couldn't cut it off.
Yeah, that's the play you work on in spring training all the time, where the pitcher tries his best to get to that ball, because if he doesn't, it ends up right there in no man's land, where it's a do or die play for the second baseman. With a fast runner, it makes it even more difficult.
So Ryan Zimmerman's the batter. He's the Nationals' third baseman, batting .234 for the year, 5 homers, 31 knocked in. But a red-hot hitter over the last week for Washington. Strike one. Zimmerman far and away leads their club in double plays. He's hit into 12 of them. Good pitch, 0-2. Zimmerman's turn to grumble. Pretty generous outside corner, something, fellas, we didn't see much of yesterday.
Well, let's hope that Tim McClellan's calling strikes today. Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Great pitch to the bottom corner of the strike zone.
That was painting the corner. couple times now, Huddy trying to go to that side of the plate where the ball's gotten away from him. I don't know if it's slipping on him or if he's trying to help it a little bit too much in there and not quite coming down through it. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Line drive center. Bourne going back. Still going back. That ball's off the fence. Lombardozzi scores. Harper around third. He's going to get the green light, and he will score without a throw. And the Nationals have 3 straight hits to start the game and lead 2-0.
In that tough first inning against the Nationals back on May 25th, he gave up 4 hits that inning. And that looked like another sinker to the dead middle of the plate, Tom.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to go away with that backdoor sinker that Tim likes to throw off the plate and bring it back, but started it on the outside corner and ended up more in the middle, which for a hitter like Ryan Zimmerman, that's certainly not where you want to be.
So Michael Morse, the batter, runner at second, nobody out. Morse with a 6-game hitting streak. And low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Up the middle. 1 play and 1 play only, and Simmons makes it. That's the first out of the inning. Zimmerman's at third with 1 out for Adam LaRoche. Here's the rest of the Atlanta defense. You've seen Michael Bourne in center field. He's flanked by Prado and Jason Hayward. Braves infield, Chipper Jones at third, Andrelton Simmons at shortstop, Dan Uggla, an all-star, at second base. Freddie Freeman's at first, and David Ross is behind the plate. Infield in for LaRoche. Fly ball deep right. Hayward going back, still going back, will have room. Zimmerman will tag and score from third base. A sacrifice fly by LaRoche gives Washington a 3-0 lead. That's 50 RBIs for Adam.
So a rough start for Tim. And one of those tough first innings where he's going to have to knuckle down and hold him the rest of the way, because it'll be tough getting runs against Gio Gonzalez, but not altogether unlike falling behind 2-0 to Strasburg yesterday, and the Braves were able to overcome that.
Well, you hope that Huddy's a little bit more accustomed to the heat and he can battle through it and last, and hope that Gio Gonzalez can struggle a little bit with the heat and they can get to him early.
Desmond's got to be excited today. Moments ago was named to his first National League All-Star team. We'll get all the names to you as our broadcast moves along during the day. The Braves have 2 selections for the All-Star squad. Desmond, one of 3 Nationals, I believe, announced today. Bet you can guess the other 2.
Well, one's pitching today and one pitched yesterday, so I think it'd be easy to figure out.
That's a little low, and Desmond aboard with a 2-out walk.
There's the Nationals All-Stars. And I want to say so far, because things happened during the last week before the All-Star game that might cause some additions or subtractions. And then there's the fan vote on, is it 3 guys or 4 they usually put up for the fan to vote? I mean, fans are already voting. I don't understand what that
Right.
other popularity thing.
Maybe it's like a do-over.
Yeah, like these should have been in. You fans ignored them first.
Well,
and
there was a big story today that apparently the fans in the Bay Area, San Francisco, stuffed the ballot boxes with 39 or 40 million votes. The Giants have 3 starters. And so many fans voted for Pablo Sandoval. As Ankiel drives one to center, that'll drop in front of Michael Bourne, and it's going to get by Michael Bourne, and that's big trouble. Desmond will score. Ankiel on his way to third. It's 4-0. Speaking of having a do-over, I think the Braves would like one here in the first.
And Tim might be upset or frustrated by that, but more frustrated by the walk. I mean, he'd gotten 2 outs. He'd already given up 3 runs, and then he walked Desmond. That was one of those that cost you pitches later in the ball game on a day like this.
Yeah, at the time you're thinking, that was, I just wasted more pitches. I had a chance to get the inning over. You're not thinking about giving up another run, but inevitably that's what ended up happening.
So strike to Jonathan Solano, who's starting behind the plate today. And a foul ball has him behind 0-2. Quickly, Pablo Sandoval is going to start at third base, not David Wright, because of that ballot stuffing by the fans in the Bay Area.
And again, that's all well and good if you go back to making it the exhibition game that it is. Take away the weighted effort for the home team in the World Series. I think it's a joke, personally.
The ballot box or the
No, I think the fans have every right. If the fans are going to vote, it's an exhibition game. I think that's perfectly all right.
I would concur with that. You can't, if it's going to be weighted towards to the World Series, then there has to be a little bit more put into it.
Little pop behind third. Drifting out at shortstop is Andrelton Simmons, and he'll make the play to retire the side. Tim Hudson needed 24 pitches to get through his first inning. He's down 4-0. Runs in the first inning to left-hander Gio Gonzalez, a 10-game winner so far this season for the Washington Nationals. Here's the Braves lineup. Chipper Jones is back in it, and he's the cleanup man today. Dan Uggla will hit fifth, Freddie Freeman sixth, Simmons, Ross, and Hudson the lower third.
As Chip mentioned, a tough left-hander out there today. Gio Gonzalez, 10-3 on the year. You see his splits there on the season, 4-2 at home, 6-1 on the road. And one more note on that. He's got 5 straight road wins and 10-1 in his last 12 road starts dating back to the end of last year. So he's been really good on the road.
His 4 keys to pitching success today, numbers. 27% That's when batters swing at a pitch he throws. 27% of the time they miss. That's unbelievable. And 5.9, he's already well on his way to that. 5.9 runs per start of support. That's second in the National League to Lance Lynn of the Cardinals.
That's a good stat to be 1 or 2 in.
Knowing you've got that every day, you bet.
On strike to Michael Bourne. Michael 3 for 6 in the series. He scored a couple of runs and now is behind 1 and 2. Let me ask you this, fellas. Heat and humidity really affected Steven Strasburg. He's a California kid. Not the case in Gio Gonzalez. He's from Hialeah, Florida, but pitched most of his career in Oakland. Does this day pose any greater problems for him in Atlanta?
You know, I don't think there's any question it's going to have an effect. Now, how much of an effect, I think, is largely determined by what kind of stress level he has to do out there and what he's done leading into this to prepare for it.
Bourne is down on strikes as Gonzalez gets his first out. He is the subject of our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard. An all-star last year in Oakland with a 16-win season. An all-star in his first year in the National League this year.
I heard a number driving in today. You see his ERA, and that's only 12th best, 2.78. I heard that there's 20 starting pitchers in the National League that have a sub-3 ERA right now.
Oh, you know what that means? Lower the mound next year.
You don't have to do that. Just move it back a few feet.
Yes.
No, pitchers have definitely had a resurgence this year. There's no question about it. I don't know what it is, other than we've been talking about it for years. There's some really good arms in baseball right now. Maybe these guys are figuring it out.
1 ball, 1 strike to Martin Prado. A .323 average, but did not make the All-Star team. Yet. Here is the fan vote. The final 5 eligible to be voted in by the fans. Michael Bourne and Chipper Jones on that list. Drive foul off the bat of Prado fills up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball center, and Keel going back is going to have room at the edge of the track. 2 outs. Washington's defense has been good this year. It's Morse and Keel and Harper left to right in the outfield. Zimmerman, Desmond, Lombardozzi, and LaRoche on the infield, and Jonathan Solano is the catcher.
It'll be interesting to see how those final 5 guys play out, because you have the nostalgia of Chipper on the one end, you'll have the newness of Bryce Harper on the other. It'll be interesting to see if any of that weighs itself one way or the other to give somebody an edge.
And that is a novelty. Not that Bryce Harper hasn't played well, he has. But just like the people who were saying he should be selected for the home run derby, home run hitting contest, that part of it is a novelty because he's new.
Way high to Hayward. 2 balls, 2 strikes. When the Braves last saw Gio Gonzalez, it was Jason Hayward that had a big hit. Knocked in a couple of runs in the 5th inning up in Washington. And a shot into right field falls in front of Bryce Harper.
Like a hanging breaking ball. Gonzalez throws hard, 93 to 95. His best off-speed pitch is his curveball, especially to lefties. And then he's got a changeup too, but this one stayed out
where Jason could get it.
Yeah, he threw one earlier in the count, kind of at Jason, that froze him. And I don't know if he was trying to do that again or try to throw it more in the middle and have it finish off the plate. But in any event, it ended up in the middle, and Jason hammered it.
Big lead at first for Hayward. Zimmerman at third will flip to second, and that will retire the side. 1 inning down in Atlanta. Gio Gonzalez leads the game 4-0.
To have bolstered their rotation with the signing today of Ben Sheets. Before the game, Frank Wren said this was a low-risk, high-reward move.
Clearly, he's been a 4-time All-Star and been a top-flight starting pitcher, and he's healthy. The first time in a long time, he feels like his arm feels the best since he was an All-Star in 2008. And we have a lot of experience with elbow surgeries. We know how they respond and how fast they come back, and he's almost 2 years out from that elbow surgery, and he feels great. We had a chance to watch him twice in the last 3 weeks throw sides and simulated games, and I came away Thursday afternoon over at Georgia Tech watching him throw a 5-inning sim game, thinking I watched the old Ben Sheets, and so that gave us a lot of confidence that he's ready to go.
And guys, when Ben Sheets threw on Thursday at Georgia Tech, he did so in front of 5 other teams, or 5 teams total, that the Braves outbid for his services. Frank described those teams as 4 teams which were in playoff contention, including the Braves, and 1 other that really wanted him. They were lucky to come out of it with a 4-time All-Star.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And here's some video of Ben Sheets throwing before the ball game in the Braves bullpen, and actually on the field playing a little long toss too. So a low risk, high reward signing, I would think, Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, no, not much risk.
Gio Gonzalez to short. Andrelton Simmons with the peg to first. 1 out in the second inning.
Yeah, I think again, you're not paying him a lot of money. You know, you see some of his accomplishments there. Look, when this kid was healthy, this guy I should say now, he had as good a stuff as anybody in the game. Health obviously was an issue for him, but you know, now if he's feeling good, why not? You know, I mean, you try to catch lightning in a bottle, and that's something that the Braves organization over time has been pretty good at.
Torn flexor tendon is what injured Ben Sheets in his last major league stop. That was with the Oakland A's. And Bruce Mano told me before the game the plan is for Sheets to go down to Double-A. He's going to go right to Mississippi and join the starting rotation. As Lombardozzi drives one deep right, Hayward tracks it down, and that's 2 out.
If he's going to join the rotation right away, that would indicate to me that he's in real good pitching shape. Not one of those, not like a rehab type assignment.
Well, I think if he threw a 5-inning simulated game the other day, then and he has to have been doing some stuff on his own somewhere in the hopes of getting this opportunity. So yeah, I would agree. You would venture to think that he'd be down there and in a position to be able to go 5 innings probably right away.
Bryce Harper swings and misses, and I think Ben Sheets' first start scheduled for the 4th of July.
Indeed.
So
I just know that I saw him strike out, what was it, 17 Braves one day in Milwaukee? 18, I'm told.
yeah, we don't want to shortchange him. He's on our side now.
Then the Braves came home after that game, and Randy Johnson threw a perfect game the next day.
In the air to left by Bryce Harper. Martin Prado is there. And a much easier time for Hudson. 8 pitches in the second, and down 4-0.
Country Grill for Bluebell Ice Cream. We're proud to be a sponsor of this year's Tribute to the Troops celebration. From everyone here at Bluebell Ice Cream, thank you to all of our armed forces and military families out there. Chip and Joe, back to you.
Hey, Victoria, thank you very much. And we echo your sentiments today at Turner Field in Atlanta. And if you're in the neighborhood, we'll take some ice cream.
And appreciate their participation in the event.
Second inning, 4-0 Washington. Dan Uggla starts things off for the Braves. Dan's headed to the All-Star game. He won out in the fan voting. He'll be the starter at second base. Rolled toward third. Zimmerman scoops, throws on the run, and gets Uggla for out number 1.
I have one more comment to make about the All-Star game voting, and then I'll get off my soapbox. And it's just to say this, that with what rides on the outcome, with home field going to the winning team, the National League team that's going to be starting is not the one the players would have on the field representing them in an effort to win that game for home field advantage. I'll leave it at that.
Valid point. Very valid point. But I'm sure some of that has to do with television too. Fox is a broadcast partner with Major League Baseball. They want people to watch the All-Star game. And so by, I assume, adding significance to the game, perhaps that will make more people watch. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, but I'm sure that that was part of the conversation. So that it isn't an exhibition game, but a quote-unquote meaningful game.
I stand by what I said. It can be meaningful as long as you're putting the best team on the field.
Foul ball off the bat of Freddie Freeman to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes for the Braves first baseman. He's been swinging a hot bat. 7 runs, 7 RBIs in his last 8 games. He's got the right idea. That's well hit to center. But Ankiel's got it. And that's the second out. Base is clear. Andrelton Simmons is the Braves shortstop today. We hope you'll join us for our 4th of July week celebrations at Turner Field. The Cubs are here tomorrow. And for a 4-game series during which you'll see 2 fireworks spectaculars on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. That's the 3rd and 4th of July. Those fireworks shows are presented by Publix. Get your tickets at Braves.com or by phone at 800-745-3000. Joe, you're right. There's nothing wrong with this guy's fastball.
He's well traveled too. He was a supplemental first-round pick in between the first and second round by the White Sox back in 2004. They traded him to the Phillies. The Phillies traded him back to the White Sox along with Gavin Floyd. The White Sox then traded him again to Oakland. So the White Sox had 2 cracks at him. The Phillies won, and he didn't show enough to those 2 teams to earn a spot.
Yeah, I think that was a trade over the winter that kind of went under the radar screen a little bit, and I know the people in Washington were excited about it. I didn't really know much about the kid either, but you can see why, man. Where would this team be had they not made that trade? Right now they've got as good a 1-2 at the top of their rotation as anybody in baseball.
And a right and a left.
Simmons will try to reach for our Delta Airlines on deck batter, David Ross, who's hit lefties very well. Well, make no mistake about it, Washington gave up a king's ransom to get Gio Gonzalez.
Yes, they did.
Catcher Derek Norris, pitcher A.J. Cole, pitcher Brad Peacock, and pitcher Tommy Malone 2 days before Christmas.
Peacock and Malone were the 2 keys to that, but right now it is a bargain, even with those heavy-duty prospects that were traded.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in Washington is talking about who they gave up right now.
Nope. How about another good at bat here by Andrelton Simmons? Good hard fastball. It looked like kind of running down and away from him, and he still got a piece of it to stay alive.
4 for 9 in the series, a homer, 3 RBIs, and making Gonzalez work. And he'll have to work again as that ball rolls foul to keep the at bat alive.
I mentioned last inning that 27% of swings are swings and misses against him. So I had our crack staff look up who is leading the league in that category in swings and misses, and no surprise here, his teammate Steven Strasburg is first, then Lincecum and Hamels, and Edwin Jackson, another teammate. How about that? 3 of the top 5 pitching for the Nats. Good cut.
Sure, Gio could go for one of those swings and misses right here.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah, right about now he's saying, come on already, let's go. Put it in play or make it out.
Love seeing left-handers with number 47 frustrated, Joe,
right?
don't you?
Yes.
I mean, from here, I do too.
Got to be closing in on 10 pitches.
That was number 11.
SunTrust solid performance includes Andrelton Simmons. And this is how many games did it take rookies to get to 10 multi-hit games in their career? Jeff Francoeur, it only took him 20. And Andrelton Simmons second on that list ahead of Glenn Hubbard, Saltalamacchia. And still very good work.
This is a battle that might pay dividends later on in this game.
I was just going to say, it's kind of fun to watch right now, but don't lose sight of what this might mean somewhere down the road.
Simmons has seen everything Gonzalez has in this second inning at bat. And he fouls away another.
Back in the old school days, right about now is where they just hit him in the ribs and say, here, you want to get on that bad? There you go.
Next.
Great at bat. Standing ovation for Simmons as he makes his way to first. That was a 5-minute at bat.
Great battle.
So as we said, David Ross hits lefties well. Let's see what he does with Gonzalez here. Man aboard and 2 out. 4-0 Washington the lead. All 4 of their runs came in the first. Line into center field. A base hit for Ross. So 2 on for Tim Hudson, who hopes to help himself.
That was a nice swing by David Ross. Laid off the sinker to start him, and he got a pitch middle in there.
Right back up the middle, like you hear hitting coaches tell their players all the time. That was nice.
25 pitches this inning for Gonzalez. And now Hudson tries to help himself back in the game. Tim's knocked in 3 men this year.
Braves are 6 for 22 with runners in scoring position in the series. A lot of that damage yesterday. All of this because of Andrelton Simmons not willing to give in.
And he's paying an awful lot of attention to him out there on second base, which with 2 outs, I'm not sure why you're bothering, but
I'm guessing Tim will take 2 for no other reason than just to make him throw 2 more pitches.
A 4-pitch walk. Loads the bases for Michael Bourne. And Steve McCaddy, the Washington pitching coach, will go to the mound and let Gonzalez catch his breath.
longer he stands out there, the better I like it.
Now, you mentioned last night, yesterday I should say, great to see Strasburg walk on a hot day. Remember? Came right out of the game after that.
And he had to take 3 units of fluids afterwards by IV, 3 of them. And Dave Johnson said that he still hadn't gone to the bathroom even after the 3 units. So I'd say he was dried up.
Michael Bourne, the batter, he struck out looking to start the game and takes called strike.
He's made some mistakes with his breaking ball. Hayward had the base hit, and Freddie Freeman on a breaking ball hit it hard, but right at Ankiel in center.
The way they're playing in the outfield, if he makes a mistake inside for Michael Bourne, if he splits that right center field gap, it's going to get real exciting here.
Well, you know how good Michael is at turning on that ball up and in.
Line to short. He hit it right on the button, but right at Ian Desmond. But boy, did the Braves make Gonzalez work. He loaded the bases with 2 outs, threw a ton of pitches, in fact, threw 33 of them. But he hasn't given up a run yet and leads the game 4-0 as we head to the 3rd inning. Lead 4-0 after 2 innings of play. It's a very special day for us at Fox Sports. It's our tribute to the troops on this 1st of July 2012. The men and women of the military with their friends, their family, made their way to Atlanta by bus, by plane, by train, by car, and they indeed got the red carpet treatment on this beautiful hot Sunday for baseball here in Atlanta. And Joe, Tom, and I are delighted to be joined upstairs by Major Mark Brown, the commander of the Personnel Assistance Point here in Atlanta. And Mark, it's great to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Now, I always ask you this question. It's the same thing we ask every time you come up in the booth. I noticed on your bio you were born in Flushing, New York. You are not a Mets fan, right?
No, not a Mets fan. Go Braves.
It's fine. You can stay. You can stick around as long as you want then. What's this day mean to you?
It's a great day. Fox Sports South and Atlanta Braves have put a lot of time, energy, and resources into the tribute for the troops for the R&R soldiers, which stands for Rest and Recuperation. They're home for 15 days with their families and their friends on a little break, recharging their batteries and getting ready to go back to the battlefield.
Personnel Assistance Point. What exactly is that?
The Personnel Assistance Point, our primary mission is the Rest and Recuperation mission, where the soldiers are home for 15 days. They come in on a chartered military aircraft plane and fly out on all the commercial carriers around the United States, and then 15 days later they come back to the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, and we put them back on a chartered military aircraft and send them back to the battlefield.
Wow.
Is it just to help facilitate them getting where they need to go? And
it is.
get back?
We stamp their leave forms, give them instructions if they have any itinerary issues, and we're the processing station for soldiers passing through the airport.
You probably have one of the best jobs that you can have in the military, seeing all those happy faces when they first come home for the first day of that 15-day R&R, huh?
It is a surreal experience watching the soldier come through. They're happy and they're excited. A lot of them have been deployed for 3 to 9 months and haven't seen their family and friends, and I tell them as I'm escorting them through that I want this to be the shortest part of their R&R experience so they can get on home to see their family and friends.
Strikeout of Ryan Zimmerman to start this third inning. Michael Morse is the batter. He grounded out to short. It was the first out recorded by Tim Hudson today.
Major, is this something that has been in existence for quite a while that maybe we just didn't know about? I'm aware of the USO and some of the help that those folks provide to the troops, but as far as what you do, is that relatively new or not?
No, the personnel assistance point has been around 2003 as far as the R&R mission, but personnel assistance point has been in Atlanta Airport since 1979.
Has it?
Yes.
Now our boss Jeff Ginther got a challenge coin with you today. What exactly is the challenge coin?
We decided this year, as one of the tokens of appreciation to present to the military members, was the Braves Fox Sports South challenge coin. Typically in the military, commanders will give out challenge coins to the troops. So Fox Sports South gave challenge coins to the troops today.
LaRoche is the batter. What exactly, how does that work? What does a challenge coin mean for those of us who aren't in the military?
Challenge coin is giving for some type of exemplary type service. Is given to a service member, and say if that individual was to challenge you again, you'd present that challenge coin to them.
Always got to have it on you, right?
Always got to have it on you.
So when you're deployed and when some of these other servicemen and women get deployed, how often do you guys get to see sporting events, and how much of is that something that you guys look forward to when you get the opportunity to do it?
Definitely something we look forward to. We have Armed Forces Network. There's just a time difference. Like say a game that's coming on this time of day, it's probably over in the night or early in the morning, depending on where you're deployed to.
Ian Desmond's the batter with LaRoche at first and 2 outs in a 4-0 Washington game. For the fans who are watching all across the country and throughout the Southeast, if they'd like to help and learn more about the Personnel Assistance Point and what you do, how would they go about doing that?
You can contact the Personnel Assistance Point for volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer with our program, come out and say bon voyage to the soldiers that are deploying back overseas. Send an email to Operation Sendoff, all one word, Operation Sendoff @yahoo.com.
Well, Mark, we will show the fans with a graphic on our screen how to help you all do such a wonderful job for our men and women in the armed forces. We salute the efforts you have and continue to make in welcoming them home from their service to our great country.
You're always welcome up here because I know you can do some play-by-play too with that voice.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. Major Mark Brown, the commander of the Personnel Assistance Point. Our pleasure to salute him and his fine work on our tribute to the troops at Turner Field today. Long inning in the second and a short top of the third for Gio Gonzalez. So let's see if the Braves 2, 3, 4 hitters can take advantage. Down 4-0. The inning starts with Martin Prado, who flied out to center. And Gonzalez misses a little low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Line drive to second. Lombardozzi's there. And that's the first out of the Atlanta third. Jason Hayward singled his first time up. His July is starting the way his June went. Jason hit .348 with 6 homers, 15 RBIs last month.
If his first 2 months had resembled anywhere close to June, he would have been an all-star easily. May was the problem spot.
Two balls, 1 strike. Another hit for Hayward. That ball was hit so hard, Desmond barely had time to react, and it was right on by.
Yeah, he barely moved, and that was because he tried to throw a fastball away from him, and that's for Jason. That's like, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's where he's looking for the ball right now. Seems to be seeing it well out there, comfortable going to get it, and a number of hard hit balls here today. The Braves could easily have a bunch of runs on the board.
But you got to hit them where they ain't. Here's Chipper, runner at first, 1 out. And he looks at a strike at the knees, 0-1. Two.
That Chipper got caught looking for a breaking ball on each of the first 2. It's a hard breaking ball too. It's not just like an off-speed slow curve. It's hard and it's got some tilt.
Two and two. Braves have already forced Gonzalez to throw 62 pitches in this game. And a liner down the right field line, fair and headed for the corner. Hayward around second, on his way to third. Ball gets stuck in the corner, and Jason's going to score. Chipper doubles. It's 4-1.
Try to go to that fastball away and got it away, but thigh high, and that's a dangerous pitch to Chipper. Drives it in the right field corner and had a hard time getting that ball up from under the wall, and Jason Hayward all the way around the bases, so nice at bat by Chipper.
His 29th RBI, 7th double, 4-1 game for Dan Uggla.
Tom, you said last inning that you don't know what effect a long inning will have on a guy in a day like this, but you just hope for residual effects, and I think we're seeing some of that this inning already. Even though the Braves came up empty last inning, they made him throw a lot of pitches.
After 17 pitches in the first for Gonzalez, 33 in the second.
That's got to take its toll.
And already 15 pitches so far in the third with only 1 out and a Braves run in.
It hasn't seemed to me that he's really thrown too many changeups or really try to throw too many fastballs inside to keep guys honest. And when he's making the mistakes away, they're putting good swings on it.
And Joe, for the other side of this residual effect, it's not just what it does to Gonzalez, but how about the rest of this Nationals defense that's out there cooking?
You definitely want to keep your feet moving. Guys in the outfield, it shouldn't be too bad. Ed Mangan and his crew did a great job of getting the field ready today. They really watered it. Really, it looked like maybe twice what they normally do. Gave it a good soaking because it was going to dry up so quickly. So the dirt should be in good shape too. There was one of those straight changes, Tom.
One of those change-ups. And, it seems like when he's getting in a situation where he's needing to make a pitch, he's trying to go to his fastball away, and he's been missing either out of the zone or up, and then came back with a nice change-up right there. One of the best ones he's thrown so far today, but not many of them.
So it's a full count now for Dan Uggla. And another change. Dan strikes out, 2 away.
And all 3 strikes were change-ups, Chip.
And even that pitch was middle. But the change of speeds was what fooled Dan. And, like you were saying, he throws that hard curveball and hard fastball when everything's hard. He's going to have to start using that changeup, I think, a little bit more to start changing their gears a little bit.
Georgia Power customers can get a free in-home energy audit performed by an energy expert from Georgia Power. Learn how to save money and energy around your home. Schedule an in-home energy audit by visiting georgiapower.com.
Freddie's patience has been rewarded in this homestand. Not nearly as, I'll call it, overly aggressive on the first pitch as we've seen him in the past, and came in 12 for his last 29 over the last 8 games.
Line center, but Ankiel is going to catch it. Freeman hits another one right on the button, and he and the Braves are retired in the third. But the Braves are on the board, now a 4-1 game as we go to the fourth.
deployed out here to Bagram, Afghanistan. Hometown's Birmingham, Alabama. I want to give a shout out to all my family and friends that are in Atlanta, Birmingham, and California. I want to give a special shout out to my Atlanta Braves. Go Braves. Keep the heat coming, because you know you got love in Afghanistan. Braves.
All right, Marcus. We thank you and the men and women of our military at the ballpark on our tribute to the troops. 4-1 is our score as we welcome Major General Jim Butterworth, the Adjutant General of the Georgia National Guard, to the booth. How are you, sir?
I'm great, sir.
Welcome.
Great. Hope you are.
Great to have you here today.
Better if we can score about 5 more runs, though.
Like the way you think.
Yeah. Hey, tell us about the involvement of the Georgia National Guard and as far as all the troops overseas.
Yes,
and
sir.
all the action that's going on over there.
Happy to. The Georgia Department of Defense consists of about 15,000 people total. Of those 15,000, we have right at 1,000 that are deployed overseas right now: Afghanistan, Kosovo, Korea, and a few other places as well. And in addition to those members and everybody that you all have honored today, and this is just an incredible experience, we also can't forget the family members. We pray for them every single day.
Yeah, we had one of the most emotional scenes, I think, ever when we had the serviceman come back unbeknownst to his family. They had a video tribute on the board, and he walked out right by the tarp, by the Braves dugout, and the kids went crazy.
It was that was a great day.
It was really great.
I wonder if fans are going to figure out that this happens every time a bat goes in the stands.
Yeah, they're booing Rick Ankiel because he wanted his game bat back. He has it now. And down a strike to Tim Hudson. Lower third of the order up for Washington. And they'll cheer like crazy if Ankiel strikes out.
Well, he made a trade for it. He gave one, yeah.
Yeah.
So what sorts of things does the National Guard do here in the state of Georgia as well?
Yes, sir. Great question. We really have 2 roles. We have a Homeland Security, Homeland Defense role here at home. And all those members that we talked about that are overseas deployed right now, they come home. They come home to Georgia. And we call home every single one of those 15,000 members, we call Georgia home. So we have basically the same equipment that we could use overseas. We could use that same equipment right here in the case of a natural disaster or, God forbid, any other type of threat.
You mentioned the 1,000 or so that are deployed.
Yes, sir.
How often are they rotated back?
Well, it depends. On our air side, it could be days or weeks, and up to 6 months or so. On the Army side, typically it's about a 12-month deployment. We have a couple of different organizations that are the 648th is in Afghanistan. The 221st is in Afghanistan right now. So definitely want to mention them, mention their family members as well.
How do you remember all those numbers? 122nd, 4th Division. It's unbelievable to me.
Speaking to gentlemen that have a lot of stats that you look through, I think you're very familiar with them as well. So they just kind of jump in there.
Chipper, short hop at third, nice pickup, and he takes care of Jonathan Solano, and that's the second out.
I love this day. I love the way that the troops are honored here, brought into the ballpark, lined up around the bases. I love the fact that the teams both come out and stand in between the servicemen and ladies. I'm confident that it means a lot to the servicemen too.
It definitely does, and and that was actually one of the things when we were gathered before the start of the game today. I got all of our folks and all the other military members that are on their way back to Afghanistan this evening, as a matter of fact, that were there, that are here today, to thank you all. This is a first-class thing. Calvin Coolidge once said that the country that forgets its defenders will soon itself be forgotten. You all have done it. The Braves organization, Fox Sports South, have done an incredible thing by making this happen and making it such a first-class thing today. We greatly appreciate that.
And hopefully an annual event, and right around July 4th, always timely, too.
I can make myself available, but I definitely wouldn't want to corner the market on this opportunity.
Well, you're welcome anytime as Gio Gonzalez bats with a 2-0 count. And Hudson pumps over a quick strike. I notice on your bio you've flown just about every possible type of aircraft that there is. Which is your favorite?
Wow, that's a tough question. I would have to kind of go with a B-1. I flew the B-1 in the Georgia National Guard, and it's hard to compare anything to flying at 500 feet above the ground, about 600 miles an hour. You know, that's almost like being on the mound at a Braves game during being Tib Hunset or something. I mean, it's a pretty good kick. So
was flying something that was always in your blood as a kid, or did
yes,
you just
sir.
grow into it? Yeah?
Yes, sir. It sure was. Still is, without a doubt. Just like a lot of other things, but sometimes that's you can't get that out of your blood. I've always wanted to say, here's one coming back this way. So
good.
Now I've said it.
Did a great job. Way to go. Don't ever miss an opportunity, man.
That's right. Yes, sir. Understood.
We've got a fishnet back in the back, too. If you want, if you feel safer, we can break that out as well.
Also,
as Gonzalez walks with 2 outs.
While the bad guys drew a walk, you all mentioned challenge coins. I wanted to mention that I have my challenge coin as well. I'd love to pass that on to you.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Very cool. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes,
now, do I swap with you mine?
You don't have to swap. If you have one, you can show it. If you don't have one, we can talk about the result maybe later.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is beautiful.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Appreciate what you all do.
That's cool.
Here's Lombardozzi with 2 outs and the pitcher at first. Don't mind the fact that Gio Gonzalez has to run the bases here. So we get these challenge coins with beautiful state of Georgia. And Jeff Gentner, our general manager and boss, with a challenge coin as well today.
There you go.
Very nice.
We delivered one to him. And actually, before the game.
Nice play by Freddie Freeman. That takes care of Stephen Lombardozzi. Major General Jim Butterworth, can you stick around for another half inning?
I'd love to.
That'd be great. Be our pleasure to have you. 4-1's your score. Braves bats back to work here at home. Sports South is brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. Back at Turner Field with our tribute to the troops. Braves bats go back to work. Now a 4-1 game. Andrelton Simmons with the at-bat of the day. We'll start things off against Gio Gonzalez. We are here with Major General Jim Butterworth, the Adjutant General of Georgia. I'm a UGA grad. I'm not too sure what Adjutant General means. Maybe you can educate me this afternoon.
Yes, sir. I serve. I was appointed by Governor Nathan Deal. I serve basically as his commanding officer over the Georgia Department of Defense, which really consists of the Georgia Air National Guard, the Army National Guard, and the Georgia State Defense Force. Wow. So that's that and our 500 state employees. That adds up to our 15,000 employees throughout the state of Georgia.
Simmons off the end of his bat will roll to second. And Gonzalez a much easier time with Andrelton. 1 out.
Plus, it's not just this. You've served your whole life. I mean, you've been a state representative. You were the Habersham County Direct Board of Commissioners, county commissioners, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir, sure was.
This has been a lifelong effort on your part.
Well, it definitely is a calling, and in flying airplanes, one of the things that you figure out is you have a little bit of free time, and you try to raise a family, do all the other parts, but also be involved with the community. And state senator, not state representative.
State senator, I beg your pardon.
It's just minor detail.
I saw you kind of glare at me when I said that. I don't want to do that again.
It's quite all right.
This guy flies B-1 bombers. He'll fly one right over your house.
No,
1 ball, no strikes to David Ross. A little roller out towards second. Funny spin, but Lombardozzi takes care of Ross for the second out. You ever do a flyover at the ballpark?
Not at this ballpark. A few other ballparks here and there. University of Georgia ball game, but not here, unfortunately.
Do you guys look forward to those? Do you enjoy those?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Because we love them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We sure do. Those are great opportunities to show off the resource that we have there.
And it's always a welcome sight.
There you go. Sound of freedom.
Yes, sir.
Tim Hudson bats with the bases clear at 2 outs. 4-1. Washington has the lead. And Gio Gonzalez jumps ahead of the Braves pitcher. Not sure if you have a better view or we do. You at 30,000 feet or us?
No, this is
100 feet above home plate.
I wouldn't trade one for the other. This is a great view.
And that's fouled the plate. You're obviously a Georgia graduate. You have to be a big sports fan. Follow the Dogs and the Braves as well.
Yeah, both. Absolutely. Absolutely. And was actually, since it was a Southeastern Conference team, pulling for South Carolina last week, but they let us down in the Baseball World Series. But they did well.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Tim Hudson.
We appreciate all that you do, naturally, and it would be remiss if we didn't say before we let you go that we appreciate everything you do, and not just being here today, but every day.
Well, thank you, and it's not me. It's I'm just a facilitator. When I started this job, I told our folks that I was working for them. So there are a lot of folks that deserve the credit.
Thank you.
We're certainly glad you're on our side, Jim.
Yes,
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Best wishes. Thanks for the coin. We will carry it proudly.
Yes, sir. Good. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Go to the top of the 5th, and we support and salute the troops here. I'm joined by specialist Levi Villers, Georgia boy. He's got some time to spend at the Braves game today before heading off overseas. You're from Fayetteville, Georgia. You were telling me before that you thought this was just going to be another ball game, but quite surprised by the fanfare that you guys got when you came out to the ballpark today.
Yes, sir. It was great. I was expecting just free tickets and kind of maybe some decent seats, but they gave us a police escort from the airport, and we came in right at the front gate. There was a red carpet, and people were all you know, clapping and shaking hands. It was really great. And then we came up, and we're in the chairman's suite right now, which is awesome. So this has definitely exceeded my expectations.
Not bad for a guy, Fayette County High School class of 2008, and also a chance for you to bring your family out. Mom and Dad are here. Your 3 little brothers are here as well, as Bryce Harper fouls one off. What is it like for you to see the appreciation that the Braves have been able to show to not only you but the rest of the troops are out here today?
Well, it's been, you know, it's great to see a professional sports team, because I know a lot of soldiers are big fans of professional sports, but especially for me, because I'm a huge Braves fan. You know, I grew up in the area, and I just, you know, I followed them my whole life. I played baseball for a while. You know, Chipper Jones is my favorite, and I just, it's been great to see them, you know, really reach out to us and, you know, give us this opportunity to come here.
And on cue, Chipper makes a catch over the railing. Now, it's a hot day out here for everybody, and talked with a lot of the players today about how they deal with the heat. You've been to Afghanistan before. How do you guys deal with the heat when temperatures reach into the triple digits and 115 degrees?
Well, normally, you know, we just drink water and sweat, but they do have some special gear that they give us. You know, we have combat shirts with it's wicker material. It's not this uniform that I'm wearing right now. They give you, you know, obviously we stay hydrated, and that's basically it. So
whatever you can do.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And guys, the travel that these guys go through, not only to get home but then return home, it can be quite a bear, as well as many of them head out this evening. Then that's just one stop before they catch a couple more planes before they end up in their final destination. But an advantage for you, being from the Atlanta area, land at Hartsfield-Jackson, you're practically home, and you get more time, a little bit more time with the family.
Yes, sir. It was great. You know, we flew in, and I landed here at 5 o'clock. My family, well, my mom was there to pick me up at the airport. My dad and family were camping, and I actually got to come home and surprise them. That was awesome. So,
well, it's great having you here, and now we had the Chipper play over the rail. It was such a great one, and then the Ryan Zimmerman home run might be a good time to get out. We can keep on cheering on these Braves.
Yes, sir. Sounds good to me.
All right. Chip and Joe and Tom, this guy, and all these other soldiers go through so much for us. It's a great honor just to have them out to the ball game.
You bet, Tom. And thank you very much. As Ryan Zimmerman has a 3 RBI day, that's only the 4th home run ball given up by Tim Hudson this season.
A hanger. Stayed up there about letter high, and Ryan Zimmerman so strong. He hit that into the terrace level above the walkway in left field.
Yeah, Martin didn't move too much on that one.
So a 5-1 game with Michael Morse up there. He's grounded out to short twice.
Yeah, I'd say that shot to the AC joint is paying dividends for Ryan Zimmerman, his 6th homer. And 3 have been on this road trip.
Washington will head home after this game today. They have an off day tomorrow. Then they'll start a series with the Giants. And they have the Rockies to follow right before the All-Star break. Big question in D.C. is, will the lights be on when they get home? They have had horrible storms, horrible heat up there. As of noon yesterday, they had about 700,000 people in the nation's capital without power at all. The weather up there approaching the upper 90s to 100 degrees.
I know it's where the PGA Tour stop was this week, too, at Congressional Country Club, and they had a exhaustive cleanup effort yesterday and actually didn't allow fans on the course for fear of other limbs or trees falling.
Chipper at third gives ground and takes care of Morse with the second out. And Adam LaRoche will be the Washington hitter. Adam with a sacrifice fly in the first inning today. Trivia time, our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Who was the last Brave whose primary position was left field to make the All-Star team?
Ron Gant.
Chipper Jones.
I wasn't here. Was Ryan Klesko an All-Star ever?
I think he was. Gary Sheffield played right. We may need to come up with like 3 names, kind of like we've been doing, and kind of just
spread the wealth.
Yeah, comb it.
Yeah,
comb the area between 66 and now.
I mean, if any one of us gets it right, it counts as a team win, right?
Of course.
Deep short Simmons, and he takes care of Adam LaRoche. Tim Hudson allows the long homer to Ryan Zimmerman, his 6th of the season, and the top of the Braves order coming up, down now by a 5-1 score.
From Hyundai Motor America. And Kevin Cole from your Atlanta Hyundai dealers. We're proud to be a sponsor of this year's Tribute to the Troops. From everyone at Hyundai, I want to say thank you to all our armed forces out there. And now, back to the game. Let's go, Braves.
Thank you, gentlemen, and we appreciate your participation in our Tribute to the Troops today. Great afternoon at Turner Field, with the exception of our score. Here's how Washington has grabbed its 5-1 fifth-inning lead.
First inning bugaboos already. Got Tim Hudson today. 4 runs on 4 hits. Same thing that happened to him back on May 25th.
But let's see if Michael Bourne can start something. Michael has struck out and hit a line drive that was the 3rd out in the 2nd inning after the Braves had loaded the bases.
Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
He went around, and Michael is down on strikes. 4th strikeout of the game for Gonzalez, 2nd man in a row. He's retired via strikeout. There's the first out in the Braves' 5th. Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South is brought to you by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers. Make every Sunday a Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South. Just past 3 o'clock in the East with Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, and Tom Hart. I'm Chip Carey here at Turner Field, where we play our last game against Washington before the All-Star break. The Braves are 3.5 games behind the Nats in the Eastern Division race.
Talking to some guys, some broadcasters, Mark Grace in particular, before the Diamondbacks left town, he's bragging on the Braves and what a good club they have up and down, and that they're going to be heard from come postseason time. In his opinion, that they were going to be there, and I certainly agree with him. But one of the things the Braves are going to have to do a better job of is playing in their division, playing a little better against teams like Washington, where they're 2-5 and just 9-12 in the East.
And I think at home too. I mean, that's the other real head scratcher. The Braves have always been such a good club at Turner Field. They come in today 5 games over 500 overall, but a game under 500 here at Turner Field.
Well, there are no soft spots in the National League East. And when the Phillies are in last place, you know that there's no place to go and pick up some games real fast. 32-24 against everybody else.
Gonzalez bobbles, but it drops right to his left hand. And Edwin LaRoche makes a good catch on a ball that was tailing. And Prado's retired for the second out. And Atlanta will play outside the division starting tomorrow night. Got the Cubs in for 4 games. Give them a little payback. They were not very hospitable when we saw them at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, it's always kind of the rule of thumb. You want to take care of business at home and in your division. Braves certainly, I agree, Joe, have to do a better job of that. I mean, you figure games within your own division, you typically look at them as 2-game swings, and you don't want to be under 500.
Hayward launches one deep left center field. Back goes Morse and makes the catch. A step shy of the fence. 3 good at bats for Jason Hayward. He's 2 for 3 on the day, but that drive to left sends this game to inning number 6 at Turner Field.
Florida. I train out of Homestead Air Reserve Base. I want to say hi to my beautiful wife Gina and my beautiful daughters Lauren and Valerie and my sons David and Tyler. I want to say go Braves.
5-1 is our score. We are in the 6th inning now. And Ian Desmond gets to work first. I must say, on a hot day where the first pitch temperature was at 101, feels a lot more comfortable all of a sudden here in the last half hour or so at the ballpark. Tim Hudson at 74 pitches sees his 75th head toward the left center field gap. And Desmond will lead off with his first base hit of the day. He's aboard for the 2nd time in the game.
One of the areas when we were looking at comparisons between the Braves and the Nationals and why the disparity in wins before last night's game, when The Nationals were up 5-1, and there wasn't that great a difference in hits and runs, but the biggest difference was extra base hits. The Nationals had a huge advantage in that area.
And Keel hits a high fly to right. And he hits the cutoff man perfectly, does Hayward. Runner at second, one out.
And a wise decision by Desmond, who has good speed, but watch how Jason again comes to the ball. Had a little momentum built up, headed toward third base to make that throw to the cutoff man.
And the catcher Jonathan Solano will be the hitter. Let's see how the Braves play it. You got the pitcher Gonzalez waiting next.
There's a great line on this guy in their notes. His brother Donovan plays for the Marlins, but they signed him out of a tryout camp. And he got to the tryout camp in Venezuela by sneaking across the border from Colombia. And he got there on an onion truck. So his nickname now with his teammates is Onions. I thought that was great.
Ross can't corral that one, and Desmond moves up to third base. A wild pitch. Well, they sure have run through some catchers this season, have the Nationals not? So Ramos has a bad knee. They have Flores, they had Leon, they had Maldonado, now Solano. They've used 5 different catchers. And that one handcuffs Freddie Freeman. And Solano will reach first base, and Desmond scores with 1 out. It's 6-1 Nationals.
Probably be a base hit on that in-between hop. But this is another one of those runs like that 4th run in the first inning, where the 4th run scored after a 2 out, nobody on, walk, double or misplay in center field gets him around. And on this one, it was a wild pitch.
Infield hit and an RBI for Solano. Runner at first for Gonzalez with 1 out.
Taking into consideration facing 8 batters in the first inning and what kind of effort that took. Tim's been very conservative in his pitching. I mean, his pitches, in that he's only at 81 right now. 82 make it.
And Gonzalez is the second out. Tim's 3rd strikeout in the game. And here's Lombardozzi. This guy's done a good job in a platoon situation in the leadoff spot. He's doubled and scored in 3 trips today.
By far the biggest inning against Tim Hudson is the first. The 4 runs today make 14 runs allowed by Tim in the first inning, and the highest inning beyond that is this 6th inning, where he's allowed 8 total runs. Had a tough first inning in Colorado, too. On May 4th, gave up 5 runs there, but the Braves were able to come back and get the win 9-8 in 11 innings.
Yeah, I'm sure he's aware of it, and I'm sure he's trying things to combat it. It's a little bit surprising with a guy that, is more of a power sinker kind of guy, that he would have those kinds of issues in one particular inning. Because typically it's the guys that are going to go out there and rely on their secondary pitches a little bit more to figure out what you have going on. But in Huddy's case, you'd think you'd get through that first inning where it's just power and sinkers in there, but for whatever reason that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, and his cutter has been real good for him, and his split as a changeup, but he's thrown a lot of breaking balls today.
That was a good live fastball that got Lombardozzi. It was in a perfect spot. Hudson has his second strikeout of the inning. But trails now by a 6-1 score. Chipper Jones batting 4th for the Braves today. Get things started when we come right back.
Dallas, Georgia being honored here as Fox Sports South and the Braves honor the troops today. Special day here at Turner Field. Timed out. Here was where he was being honored as he took the field. A standing ovation from not only the fans but players from both sides. Washington Nationals players on the field even stopping to take their gloves off and applaud. Wonderful thing. Now it's time for the Coors Light 6th inning and the Coors Light freeze cam and that cold train. Where is the cold train today? Bring it on.
We made it.
Some sights from the events of the day, including the troops coming out onto the field, lining the base paths. A wonderful sight. That's the Coors Light freeze cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Only one sight would be better for the Braves fans today, and that's a big comeback. Atlanta down 6-1 in the 6th inning. Gio Gonzalez still out there for the Nationals. He's retired the last 8 Braves batters. The last man to reach is the man in the batter's box, Chipper Jones, who picked up an RBI double in the 3rd inning.
I have it on good authority. That's as far as I'll go, without revealing sources, that when the umpires came out today and they came from their dressing room, they come up through the area over there by the camera well in low 3rd camera position, and that Tim McClellan, when he stepped out of that area onto the field, he stopped and said, "No, I'm going back."
And a good start for the Braves. You see the temperature 105, 106 degrees perhaps down in the camera well. And for more on the umpiring situation this weekend, let's check in with Tom Hart.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you why Tim McClellan turned around. I was talking with some of the younger guys in the crew today, and they said, well, McClellan's an old school guy. He still thinks wool is best. It's not. They wear a lot of Under Armour these days to wick away the sweat. They also have a cool temperature equipment that they wear made by Right Temp Athletics, and what they do is they slip into it post-game. It's always a home plate umpire who puts it on. And the goal post-game is to lower their core body temperature. It's made of ice packs that go over their shoulders. They have a vest. They have a sitting pad that they sit on. They even have a hat that goes around their ears, kind of like an old World War I flying ace would wear, except it's covered in ice cubes. It can lower their core body temperature by as much as 2 degrees almost right off the bat. Now, the home plate umpire, on occasion, if it's a guy who likes it, will also wear one of those pads underneath his chest protector. And they told me that's the biggest problem, is the chest protector keeps the sweat from being whisked away from your body. So obviously he's the guy in the most duress on a day like this. But every ballpark has one of these ice packs. There's 30 of them in every ballpark, available to the home plate umpire each and every day.
Thank you, Tom. Makes you wonder if there'll be technology around for the catchers. Again, they have an easier time of it than the umpire when they're not catching. They're sitting in the dugout or can find a cool place to sit and get more comfortable. The umpires don't have such luxury. They're out there top and bottom for 9 innings.
I just want to picture McClellan wearing that hat.
Me too. I'm with you on that. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Could be the start of a good inning. He might be wearing down a little bit. He's at 107 pitches. A lot more than Hudson, even though he's only allowed 1 run.
He had 50 of them after 2 innings. Back-to-back walks in the 6th inning. So indeed it is a good start.
Frank Stammen is warming up in their bullpen.
And Steve McCaddy is the pitching coach. He'll make his way to the mound.
Most walks for Gio Gonzalez in any start was 5. That was against the Dodgers back in April. He's walked 4 today. He pitched great against Atlanta here on a Sunday night game. May 27th, 7 innings, a 1-hit ball, gave up a couple of runs, won the game 7-2. But then the Braves turned the tables on him up in Washington and won the game 3-2. One of only 3 losses he has, and he didn't get out of the 5th inning. Gave up all 3 of the runs. One of the few times he hasn't been given 6 runs to work with.
Good opportunity. Sorry, good opportunity here. Freddie's hit the ball hard both times, so see if he can do the same and find a gap.
Yeah, find some grass somewhere.
Strike 1. Nice stop by Solano. High fly ball, deep right center field. Harper on the run. Track wall and long gone.
Freddie's in double digits. That's number 10. And that's going to do it for Gonzalez. That was a really good at bat, and one that it became a little bit predictable, Tom, in that he threw a couple of fastballs by Freddie and then tried to lure him with the breaking balls, and that didn't work, so he went back to the fastball. We're going to show each of those pitches to you right here. We'll have to come back from our break and show you every one of them.
And it'll be worth the wait, too. We've got a 2-run game. 6-4 now after Freddie Freeman touches them all and touches off a 3-run 6th-inning homer.
Now, thanks to the 3-run homer by Freddie Freeman, here's that pitch sequence.
So he started him off with a fastball in, fouled that off, tried to go back in there, missed, foul off the other way. Then he tries to go to the breaking ball to put him away. He goes with the sweeping one there, tries it again there, and just by seeing the way Freddie was taking those pitches, you knew he wasn't going to swing at it. He was going to sit on another fastball. He got it, and this time, not only did he miss the grass again, but he put it in the seats. So.
Plastic. I like that better.
But you could just tell. I was sitting there thinking to myself, boy, he's spitting on that curveball. If he throws him another fastball, there's going to be some damage. And man, oh man, did he get a hold of that one.
So 3 runs are in. Nobody's out. And here's Andrelton Simmons. He's low bridged by Craig Stammen, the relief pitcher on for Washington.
3-1 with an excellent 1.48 ERA, strikeout per inning, 215 batting average against him. Those are all good numbers. One other thing on Freddie. Prior to that at bat, and this is hard to believe, especially now that he's got 47 RBIs, he was only 4 for 45 with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs. That's hard to believe. 4 for 45. There's a souvenir.
That thing's flat on one side.
Freddie wants to trade for a banner or some jersey.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Andrelton wasn't too sure, and neither were the fans. What a good pitch. Fastball slider curve for Stammen. He's in the low 90s with his fastball. Got a little delay game in his delivery, too. Kind of throw your timing off.
A little, reminds me of David Weathers a little bit. That delivery.
Good one.
Simmons down swinging. That's the first out of the inning. David Ross, the Braves catcher, bats with one out. Hope you'll enjoy a night out at Turner Field with the new Braves Buddy Pack. Get as many as 12 tickets to a game, and every ticket comes preloaded with a $15 credit for food and drinks. Visit Braves.com/buddy today and pick up your Buddy Pack tickets. $114 pitches for Gonzalez on a 100-degree day today. He leads by 2 with David Ross up.
That home run he allowed is the 4th of the year. Not many at all for Gio Gonzalez, but 3 have come on this road trip. He gave up 2 in his last start at Colorado, which is nothing to be ashamed of.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his first home run he's given up to a lefty.
Well, it wasn't a cheapie, that's for sure. It was hit a mile. So the Braves are back in the ball game. Need a couple more. That was called a strike, and it's 0-2. Runs are tough to come by against this Washington bullpen. Let's see if the Braves can keep this inning rolling along with Ross in the batter's box and Eric Hinsky waiting in the on-deck circle. He would bat next for Tim Hudson. In between hop, but Zimmerman handles it cleanly. Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South is brought to you in part by Georgia Power, by Sherwin-Williams, by Toyota, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hinsky's called back. It'll be Juan Francisco batting instead here in the 6th inning.
He had a good day yesterday, 1 for 4, and he has hit this team pretty well. 5 for 9, and a lot of that damage against Steven Strasburg.
There's a long way to go in this game, folks. 6-4 your score.
Yesterday, the Braves were able to put 4 runs on Chin-Ming Wong, who had come in out of the bullpen, and that just added to some of the misery of their bullpen on this road trip. Now, granted, some of this is from Coors Field, where you expect to get hammered a little bit, but it is way out of line for what they had been doing, especially the walks. 8 in their last 15 innings.
Pop fly foul over the Braves dugout. Just like that, it's 0-2.
Now that's similar to the pitch that he pulled foul yesterday over by the tarp. And then on the next pitch, they left one out over the plate a little bit more, and he hooked a double to the right field wall that jumped off his bat. They think they can go back in there again and make a mistake. He might hit one to the plastic.
Not this time, though. Francisco swings and misses. And that will retire the side. Productive inning, though, for the Braves. They cash in 2 walks back-to-back. And then Freddie Freeman hits his 10th homer into the seats in right. A 3-run shot. And new life for Atlanta, down now 6-4.
From Sherwin-Williams, former U.S. Army. We are happy to be part of today's tribute to the troops to help recognize the service and sacrifice of our armed forces. From everyone here at Sherwin-Williams, thank you and go Braves.
Thank you, Jay, and we thank you for your support today, as we do for all of our great sponsors at Turner Field and on Fox Sports. It's been a special day. Braves trying to come back, down now by just 2 runs as we head to the 7th inning. Tim Hudson's day is complete. He'll give way to Anthony Varvaro, who answers our AT call to the bullpen.
He did some good work against the Nationals in relief on Friday night. 2 innings, a 1-hit shutout ball, by far his best outing since getting called up from Gwinnett. Struck out 2 batters. Little winds picked up too, blowing out toward right.
Bryce Harper starts the inning for the Nationals. He's 1 for 3 and 2 for 13 so far in the series. It's hot but much more comfortable. Thankfully, low humidity these last several days with Washington. And we hope the weather will continue to be more comfortable for the fans and players alike beginning tomorrow night when the Cubs are here for game 1 of a series.
Supposed to go all the way down to 90, isn't it, tomorrow? Something like that.
Bring a jacket. Laser Baker makes a return tomorrow night. He has chimed in on this series and the fact that the Braves fell behind again today 4-0. And he looked it up. It's the 4th time out of 8 games between these 2 teams that the Braves have fallen behind 4-0.
See, even when he's home, he's got his mind on stats.
His brain never turns off.
It's into the Braves dugout on a bounce. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Simmons at short. And Bryce Harper is 2 for 14 in this series. Back to our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Martin Prado did not make the All-Star team this year. We'd like to know if you know who was the last Brave whose primary position was left field to make the All-Star team.
Okay, I'm going with Ron Gant.
I'm going to stick with Chipper.
I'll go with Ryan Klesko.
Good call.
Bingo. Joe, how many games have we had on this homestand so far?
This would be the 6th.
And how many trivia questions have we had on this homestand?
Right at 6.
Do you know that that was the 5th one we've gotten right? Five of 6 is a pretty good percentage.
It's very good. Collaborative.
Solid work.
The trivia girl might say it was calamitous. But I call it collaborative. Ron LaFleur notwithstanding.
And if we don't shut our mouths, she's going to clock us.
Mm-hmm.
Zimmerman's needed 3 cortisone shots in his shoulder this year. And that's what he's done since his latest injection into the AC joint of that right shoulder. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot. And he crushed a ball last time up.
You might say clock this one. Hanging breaking ball above the walkway. No doubter.
That's proof to the saying that hanging breaking balls go a long way.
Popped up. David Ross battling the sun. Two-handed catch. Good play. 2 outs.
We're in one of those innings that Freddie Gonzalez talked about, that we brought up last night about the difficulty in having a shutdown inning recently for the Braves after they scored. So they've gotten back in it, and so far so good for Anthony.
At least to this point, the Braves have been able to cool off the bat of red-hot Michael Morse.
You mentioned Harper's 2 for 14 in this series. Both of those hits, remember, were little squibbers right off the end of the bat. They pitched him tough.
Morse was 6 for 9 in the set coming in, 0 for 3 today. Hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield in Game 3. That was a breaking ball that missed badly, obviously. 2 balls, no strikes.
Breaking ball that didn't break.
Most hitters that hold their arms that far away from their body look real tense, and that they've got to really hold the bat tight to keep it from dropping. He looks real relaxed when he's holding the bat out there, I guess because he's so strong.
Yeah, his top hand looks very relaxed on the bat.
And they got him from Seattle for Ryan Langerhans.
Three balls and a strike.
A little bit of a golf grip working there too, Tom.
And Morse aboard for the first time. It brings up Adam LaRoche. And Michael Morse is going to be taken down for a pinch runner. Looks like Roger Bernardino will come out of the Nationals dugout. Morse, you recall, has had some trouble with a bad hamstring. And the last thing Davey Johnson wants to do is see him miss any more time. Remember, Morse missed the first 50 games of this season with a lat muscle injury. Glad to see him out of the lineup. Here's LaRoche.
Got to keep an eye on Bernardina because he can fly.
Another half step on his lead. And high to Adam. 1 ball, no strikes. That's well hit to center. Bourne going back. And a step shy of the fence, has just enough room. That sends this game to the 7th inning stretch. It's God Bless America time at Turner Field. Washington leads Atlanta in the rubber game of the series by a 6-4 score. And the top 3 hitters, Bourne, Prado, and Jason Hayward, are scheduled for the Braves, who try to come back and win this series outright at home.
God Bless America, performed by Atlanta Opera Tenor.
A solemn prayer.
Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet
It's 6-4. It's the bottom of the 7th inning, and the top of the Braves order is coming up. Craig Stammen is still out there for Washington. One defensive change for the Nationals. Roger Bernardina remains in the game, and he's replaced Michael Morse in left. And ball one to Michael Bourne, who is 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts.
Stammen now 5 1/3 innings of shutout relief against Atlanta for the year. Boy, you're right, Tom. That is carbon copy almost of David Weathers.
Yeah.
Two balls, two strikes. And Michael's down on strikes for the third time today. One away as we check it again with Tom Hart.
All right, thanks, guys. Happy to be joined out here in the bleachers with Colonel Bill Williams from the Georgia National Guard. He's from Grayson, Georgia, and he's a big Braves fan, and he just got back from serving a year overseas in Afghanistan with the Georgia National Guard. First of all, welcome back. Glad we could bring you to a ball game today.
Thank you very much. We're very glad to be home, and just like the old saying says, there is no place like home.
There isn't. You've got your daughter, Catherine, with you. Your other daughter is at home today. She didn't get the invite to the baseball game. You'll have to take that up with her later. But we were just talking, between pitches about the commitment that you guys make in the National Guard and the toll that has on families that are left behind.
Absolutely. When we sign up to join the military, we know what we're signing up for. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of courage and commitment to love a soldier, and I'm very fortunate. I've been married for 27 years, and I've got my daughter Catherine with me today. She's 22, and I have a 19-year-old daughter, and they pay a big-time price for us as well, and I'm very proud of what they do for our country as well.
What is it like for you to be overseas and away from the family for so long when you try to balance your responsibilities as a soldier, as that one drops in for a base hit? And it might be an extra base for Prado, who hustles his way. And the Braves seem to be in business. Colonel Williams happy about that. What's it like to balance your family duties with being overseas and your duties as a soldier? How tough is that?
It is very challenging. The way we like to phrase it and everything else, we train hard to prepare for our mission. Our families don't get to go through that same training that we do. So we know a little bit about what we got to do when we get there. But we're torn because obviously our family is here and we have a very special place in our heart. So one of the ways we're able to get through it is that when we say we leave, we say we're not leaving them behind. We're taking them forward with us. Their love's in our heart.
Well, we love that you're here and that you're a Braves fan. And let's sit here and watch, and maybe this Braves team can come through here in this inning for you.
That sounds great. Go Braves!
All right. Chip, Joe, Tom, back to you guys.
Tom, thank you. A one-out double from Martin Prado brings up Jason Hayward, who's had 3 terrific at-bats today. He's tallied 2 hits and has scored a run.
Stammen made some good pitches on Michael Bourne to retire him, but he's going to have to make some real good pitches here on Jason, who is locked in today. And even the out he made was to deep left and back Morse up to the fence.
One ball, one strike.
Pretty good two-seamer that came back there.
This one over Bernardina's head in left field now. It's going to be a home run.
Yeah.
As deep as he's playing, it's going to be hard to get one over his head.
Braves 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. That hit was last inning Freeman's 3-run homer.
And it was measured 420 feet.
Wow.
Fly ball center field, pretty deep. And Keel, though's going to have room shy of the track. Tagging is Prado. He's going to head to third and slide in ahead of the throw. Two outs.
Hit it right on the button. May have gotten under it just a little bit. But when the ball stays in the ballpark and Rick Ankiel's getting under it, you know you're going to have to hustle if you want to move up a base. And Martin didn't half step. He was hustling all the way over there.
Chipper's never had a hit against Craig Stammen. This would be a great time to pick up his first. Big run 90 feet away for the Braves. Martin Prado's there with 2 outs. And Chipper has doubled home 1 run already today. He's walked and scored. To third on the first pitch. And Zimmerman will throw out Chipper. And that retires the side. Martin Prado left stranded 90 feet away. And Washington's lead is still 2.
We are proud to once again sponsor Tribute to the Troops. On behalf of all of us at Blimpie, thank you, troops, for keeping us safe. Chip and Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Paul. 6-4 is our score here as we head to the Washington 8th inning.
It's great that all the sponsors that do our games have participated in this day-to-day. Appreciate everybody, including Blimpie. Thank you.
Ian Desmond named to his first All-Star team today. Has played like one at the plate. He's walked, scored, and doubled and scored today. And the Nationals had a great stat in their notes last night about Ian Desmond. He has 35 lifetime home runs. That is more than every other Nationals shortstop combined since they moved to Washington, D.C. And he's going to get bigger and stronger and better.
He's already improved a ton. He was wild at shortstop, making careless mistakes and bad throws. He's cut down on his errors. Very athletic, gets to a lot of balls. But offensively, where I think he's improved the most, he's a tough out.
He strikes out here in the 8th inning, and if you missed it, here is the National League All-Star starting lineup. Braves second baseman Dan Uggla gets the starting nod. The Giants fans stuff the ballot boxes and reward Pablo Sandoval, Melky Cabrera, and Buster Posey. 3 Giants are on the All-Star starting squad. How about Carlos Beltran, former Royal, will go back to Kansas City and be a starter for the National League as a St. Louis Cardinal.
He's had a nice comeback after a couple of injury-plagued years.
There was some talk in the press room today when Joey Votto's name came up that he's battling a little knee issue right now, and it was thought that he might have had to have an injection. So I think he's still playing through it, but I don't know if he'll be available.
So injury is certainly part of the process, and Tony La Russa would have the option then of replacing that player, I assume. Is there, or does it go by vote? With the second place?
I think the manager can pick his replacement.
I hope he can.
Especially if the game means so much. You know, Tony La Russa is going to try to win it. Barbaro's throwing beaties right now. He strikes out Ankiel. 2 outs in the 8th. Here's the reserve squad as announced for the National League side of the All-Star game. 2 Cubs, Starlin Castro and Brian LaHare. We'll see them here tomorrow night. David Wright was outvoted by Pablo Sandoval. Manager selection, Bruce, Stanton, Ruiz, and Desmond.
Andrew McCutchen is lighting the league up, too, playing great.
Of course, the All-Star game, July 10th, 7:30 Eastern Time on Big Fox. One ball, 1 strike to the Onion. That's the big dilemma for the National League. One of them, at least as far as the pitching side is concerned. Who starts the game? Do you start Kane? Do you start R.A. Dickey?
How can you not start R.A. Dickey?
That's the only reason you wouldn't start him is because you don't, for whatever reason, want to start a knuckleballer. Because the rest of his numbers are so good, you can't not start the guy.
There are the pitchers. Craig Kimbrell, the other Brave, joining Dan Uggla at the moment on the National League All-Star squad.
Several closers in there, too, with Street, Hanrahan, Papelbon, and Kimbrell. I think R.A. Dickey's earned that nod. Yes, he did.
You bet he did. What an inning for Barbaro. He strikes out the side. 2 scoreless innings for Anthony. Braves still a chance, down 6-4 in the 8th. Let's see if the Braves can come back on our Tribute to the Troops Day and get us ready in positive fashion for the battling Cubbies, who come to town here starting tomorrow night for the first of 4 games.
Well, both Samardzija and Mahalam pitched good games against the Braves at Wrigley Field. Samardzija's fallen on some tough times lately, and his ERA has moved up over 5. He's 5-7, but man, oh man, can he bring it. Throws hard. He'll hook up with Hansen and Jurgens and Volstad. Volstad going to fill the spot vacated by, who was it that?
Is it Dempster?
It's that Dempster spot. And then Delgado and Minor. So everybody but Tim Hudson gets a turn at the Cubs,
who are struggling. 28-49, worst record in baseball, but their youth movement is underway. Starlin Castro, an all-star. Anthony Rizzo, we've seen him before, hit his first Cubs home run yesterday. So the next 4 days for Atlanta, a chance to improve their fortunes on the homestand. That our Jameson Inn upcoming schedule. So Sean Burnett is on to pitch the 8th inning with Uggla, Freeman, and Andrelton Simmons coming up.
Let's improve on the fortunes against this Nationals bullpen.
It's a good one. That ball might turn fair. Fortunately for Dan, it didn't. 2 balls and a strike. Braves have been issued 4 walks today. 2 of them have scored. One here to Uggla wouldn't be a bad way to start the inning. But now he faces a full count. And Dan is retired on strikes. Nice comeback by Burnett. Uggla strikes out for the 2nd time today. 1 away in the 8th.
Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Needless to say, it was a long one from Freddie Freeman. 3-run shot on a 2-2 pitch. Tail of the tape, 420 feet. Our Cold Hard Blast brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. It was his 10th homer of the year. Stammen, Burnett, and Clippard. 3 guys at the end of their bullpen have been spotless against the Braves so far this year. Those 3 guys combined 14 2/3 innings of shutout baseball with 18 strikeouts and just 3 walks.
He's been healthy. He's been awfully good. It's the left index finger for Freeman. It's not going to be 100% until well into the offseason. But riding a hot streak right now for the Braves, including, as Joe said, that 3-run homer in the 6th. And a broken bat flare will fall into left field. That's going to sting the hand, but a 2-hit day will make him feel pretty good. And it brings the potential tying run to the plate.
And that's a good sign. That's a great sign. It shows you how hard he is staying in on a left-handed pitcher there and not pulling off the ball. If you're not getting jammed once in a while or getting your bat broken once in a while, you're not swinging right.
Yeah, he's, even he did it very well against Gio, and here too against Burnett, who's got that funky delivery. He's not giving any ground whatsoever, and especially not on those sweeping breaking balls away. He's seeing it and spitting on them, which is a great sign.
It's rally time.
And And righties have hit Burnett very hard this year. 297. Let me take that back. Last year they hit him 297. He's done a much better job this year. 220. Our right-handers hitting against Burnett. And Andrelton takes one right back through the box. Freeman will round second, and he'll make it to third without a play. And the Braves will bring the go-ahead run to the plate in the 8th inning. Back-to-back hits.
Well, if you're a right-handed hitter against Burnett, you see the ball out of his hand so well. So even if he tries to throw a slider into you, see it out of his hand the whole way and can read it. Fastball-wise, he better run the ball away from you and sink it off the plate, which he was not able to do there. Good base running by Freddie.
David Ross now the Braves hitter. He's 1 for 3 today. Pitcher's spot is due next. And another right-handed bat is standing there. It's Matt Diaz.
Even if the Braves only get one here, I've said it before, if you just trail by 1 in the 9th inning, it's a whole lot easier to try to manufacture 1 run than 2.
And at the very least, this rally in the 8th inning guarantees that Bourne and Prado are going to hit in the 9th. The lineup will turn over for Atlanta as Ross now a 2-0 count.
Good pitch from Burnett there. He needed that. That was his sinker. Fox Tracks had it shaving the edge of the strike zone. One piece of that Sherwin-Williams brush got it.
Now 2-2. Tim McClellan's had a real common sense strike zone today.
I think he has. He's had a good day.
He's done a good job back there. I mean, typically he's not going to give you a lot, but if you throw a strike, he's going to call it.
David fouls one off.
Smart swing there, smart approach on that 2-2 pitch. In that, I still contend that Burnett can't throw the ball by him middle of the plate in, but he can get you out running the ball away from you if you're thinking middle in. So look for something middle away and then adjust. Got a big hole on the right side too.
And David tried to spray one that way, and it's into the seats foul.
And that looked middle in, and he was still trying to go the other way, and I still think that's a smart common sense approach here. Not going to ball.
Might have been, yeah. Trying to go away, but threw it middle in and down and fought it off.
Rally caps are on for Atlanta, down 6-4. 2 on, 1 out. And Ross strikes out.
That hurts.
And it will be Matt Diaz pinch hitting.
Big time breaking ball there.
Into the seats. Strike one to Diaz.
Four 2-out RBIs for the Braves in this series. They could sure use another one here.
Little roller right side. LaRoche will flip to shortstop. And that retires the side. Braves had 2 on with 1 out in the 8th inning. Cannot add to their run total. It's a 6-4 game. Brought to you in part by the Georgia Lottery, by Jameson Inn, by AT Uverse, by Sony Picks The Amazing Spider-Man, and by Ram Trucks. 8 complete in Atlanta. Crowd today of 18,796. Hoping that Atlanta can hold down the Nationals in the 9th and pick up a couple, maybe even 3 in the bottom half of this inning. To do that, Johnny Venters answers the AT&T call to the bullpen, and he'll have the 9, 1, and 2 spots coming up for the Nationals.
ERA at 3.86 after a couple of good outings. Gave up the home run to Chris Young the other day, but that was the first run he had allowed since June 12th against the Yankees. Seven of his last 8 have been scoreless.
That missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Danny Espinosa. Pinch hitting in the 9 spot. Lombardozzi and Harper to follow for the Nationals. Venters strikes out his first man. Good start to the 9th inning. Great day for our tribute to the troops. And Tom Hart has another terrific story for us. Tom?
Yeah, Chip, thanks. As we salute our troops, let's take a moment to salute one of our own. This year, the Braves drafted Kevin McCaig with their 23rd round pick out of the United States Military Academy. He was commissioned as second lieutenant upon graduation from West Point. He was a Patriot League Player of the Year, an All-American, and a semifinalist for the John Olerud Two-Way Player of the Year award. He rewrote the record books in West Point, and now spending his 60 days of leave before he reports in beautiful Orlando, playing with the Gulf Coast League Braves. He's a pitcher. He has yet to see action. I talked to him last night. I said, what do you want your teammates to appreciate about what you're going through and what you will go through? And he said, well, I just hope they would appreciate what I'm doing for baseball and for the Army. He's got 60 days before he has to report to Basic Officer Leadership Course on August 23rd in Fort Lee, Virginia.
Thank you, Tom. That's a great story as Lombardozzi gets hit by a pitch.
That's a great story, and we wish him well. Johnny had struck out 4 of the last 5 batters he faced before Lombardozzi, going back to his last outing against Washington on Friday night.
And that one off the foot, that's got to hurt.
That'll really hurt on the plane.
Bryce Harper down a strike.
And one of the things they're continuing to work on with Johnny, as we've been talking about a little bit, is trying to keep him from flying off the mound so much when he's delivering his pitch. And one of the things they're working on is trying to keep his lead arm on target longer, so he stays towards his target longer and doesn't fly off the mound before he makes his pitch. And I think with him, if he delivers his pitch and falls off the mound, that's okay. But what happens when he flies is he's simultaneously kind of falling off the mound and making his pitch at the same time. And that makes it extremely difficult not only to throw strikes, to be consistent throwing strikes.
Nothing in 2, the count to Bryce Harper. That just missed. Braves will have the top of the order coming up in the 9th inning.
I can picture your delivery, Tom, and picture your front arm going right at home plate. Your elbow, your glove, everything lined up, shoulders, but everything going right at home plate and not to the third base line.
Right, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Johnny, is keep that lead elbow going towards home plate as long as they can and not going up the third base line or in the right-handed batter's box. Because he will. He's got so much torque once he makes his pitch. He's going to naturally fall off a little bit, but you don't want to be so much that he's making the pitch at the same time.
Runner goes, and the pitch is upstairs to Bryce Harper. And it's a stolen base for Lombardozzi, who was hit by a pitch just a second ago on the foot.
Well, David Ross acted like he was a little surprised after he caught the pitch and then saw Lombardozzi near the bag. I don't know if he didn't get a heads up from Freddie Freeman or just didn't hear him.
He was definitely caught by surprise.
So now Harper, after being down 0-2, looks at a 3-2 pitch with 1 out. Big run at second for Washington. And Harper walks. Roger McDowell out for a visit with Zimmerman up there. He's got a homer, a double, 2 runs, and 3 RBIs today. Nationals leave town after this ball game. The Cubs come to town. First of a 4-game series. Our Chevron starting pitchers tomorrow are
Jeff Samardzija, outstanding wide receiver at the University of Notre Dame. Tommy Hanson going for the Braves, looking for his 10th win. Could probably play tight end if you needed him to. Samardzija gave up 9 earnings the other day against the Mets, and they had that 17-run game.
I would imagine he can give up 9 runs with that stuff.
Wow. Live arm. Can be a little wild. Comes out of his hand very easy.
Ground ball would be nice. A strike to Ryan Zimmerman. First final in the National League is in today. The Miami Marlins beat the Phillies again, 5-2. Phillies are now 9 games under 500. They've lost 5 games in a row, and the Braves will see them right before the All-Star break. Up the middle. Simmons can't get it. Lombardozzi will round third. He will score. Bryce Harper goes to third. And that's a big run for the Nationals as they extend their lead now to 7-4.
Braves were unable to get those single runs like this the last couple of innings when they had some opportunities, but the Nationals capitalized, and what a day for Zimmerman.
Tyler Moore bats here in the ninth. And that's going to do it for Johnny Venters. Christian Martinez was the man loosening up in the bullpen. The inning started very nicely for Johnny. A strikeout, a hit batter, a walk, a steal, and an RBI hit gives Washington a 3-run lead. Great day for our tribute to the troops at Turner Field. But the Nationals aren't cooperating. They lead 7-4 now, with runners first and third and Tyler Moore in the batter's box. He's facing Christian Martinez. Yet another AT&T call to the bullpen.
Second game for Christian in this series. He worked an inning 2 nights ago. 2 hits, no runs, a strikeout. You know what I like about those numbers for Christian is that he comes in throwing strikes.
Yep.
7 walks, 37 strikeouts in 38 innings.
That's to me what's so confounding about Johnny Venters here so far. Got ahead of Harper, 0-2, and then 4 straight balls. Walked him and gave up the hit to Zimmerman. Ground ball toward third. Chipper's got it. Ugla with the turn. Off stride and off the bag is Freddie Freeman. And the hard slide by Zimmerman allows Harper to score. And it's now an 8-4 game with 2 outs.
Well, he got caught off stride, Chip, because he got a bad feed here from Chipper. Tried to get rid of it quickly, but it looked like it pulled Dan off the bag toward first base. We'll see here. Kind of below throw. That's what it was. It was low, and he had to then dodge Zimmerman. A higher feed, and he doesn't get off balance.
Man's had a big day today for Washington. He's knocked in 4 runs, scored 2. And with that play at second base may have helped the Nationals steal another run. It's now 8-4. Make no mistake, the Braves are catching the Nationals at a real bad time. They're playing good ball. Into this series, the Nationals had scored 10 or more runs in 3 straight games, albeit that against Colorado. It had never happened before since the Nationals had moved to D.C. Scored 35 runs in 38 innings at Coors Field. They've scored 18 runs in the first 3 games, or in the 3 games of this series. One and 2 now to Adam LaRoche. The story for the Braves today, if you missed it, just a few minutes before first pitch, General Manager Frank Wren announced the Braves have signed Ben Sheets, former U.S. Olympian and 4-time All-Star, to a minor league pitching contract. Ben was warming up in the bullpen before the game today. He will report to AA Mississippi and make his first start on the 4th of July.
When we saw him playing catch in the outfield and then throwing in the bullpen, you wondered if he was just trying to show his wares right there and impress them enough to get them to sign him, but it looks like they already had.
So Ben Sheets begins his Braves organization journey on the 4th of July, and we begin the bottom of the 9th in a moment. Tune in to the 2012 All-Star Game. It'll be on Big Fox Tuesday, July 10th at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Brett Kimbrell and Dan Uggla named to the National League All-Star Game today. Gio Gonzalez, Steven Strasburg, and Ian Desmond have gone for the Washington Nationals. You can still vote for Chipper Jones and Michael Bourne. They are 2 of 5 at-large selections who can be voted in via the fan balloting, and I believe that's able to be accessed online at Braves.com. And there are the final 5: Bryce Harper, David Freese of the Cardinals, and Aaron Hill, who's hit for 2 cycles this season. The other 3 members of that final vote grouping.
So the choice there, of course, with Chipper. Not to take anything away from Michael and what he's done, but I'm sure fans will have a soft place in their heart for Chipper's last year.
So let's see if the Braves have a big bottom of the 9th inning comeback in them today. Steve Lombardozzi is in left field for the bottom of the 9th. Espinosa's at second, and Tyler Clippard will pitch. He's got the top of the order up for the Braves. Michael Bourne 0 for 4 today.
It's not a safe situation, but he was already up and warmed up, ready to come into what they thought was going to be a safe situation. And they have a day off tomorrow, so they got him up. They're going to get him in. Let me ask you about that, Tom, with respect to innings and pitches and appearances for guys in the bullpen.
Desmond at short. Hardly had to move. 1 out.
If they got him up and then they score 2 runs, now they got to rush somebody else to get ready to come in. But wouldn't it still be a lot better not to come in and pitch if you don't need him?
You know, I've heard that conversation, and I guess it depends on who you talk to. There are some guys that say, well, you know, yeah, not getting in the game is at least not as taxing. There are other guys that will tell you that, you know, once I'm up and I'm warm and I'm ready to go, I might as well pitch. So I think a lot of it depends on the individual, and a lot of it depends on how many games they've been in. You know, I think in this situation, obviously, this is a big game for the Nats. You know, they want to take this series. So, you know, once it became a non-safe situation in their mind, they don't want to take any chances with this thing. They want to put it away and get out of here.
And if the Nationals do end up winning this game, that'll run their record to 6-2 against the Braves this year.
You know, you're talking about the Braves catching them at a time when they're playing well, much like we talked about the Braves June. They've had a tough schedule in June as well. The only team they played that didn't have a winning record in June was Colorado, and that's not easy to play out there.
And they split that series. Nationals were 15-11 in June. And if they again win today, they'll go to 16-9 in the Eastern Division. We will see Washington on our first road trip after the All-Star break. In fact, the first 3 games on the road after the break are in Washington. We'll have a doubleheader mixed in there too.
Right.
And it's down to Miami. The Phillies and Marlins wrap up the July part of the schedule. Another chance at short. Funny spin. But Desmond hangs with it. And Martin Prado 1 for 5 on the day. 2 outs. Don't forget to stick around for Braves Live. It's presented by AT We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez and from the Braves in the locker room. Also look at our highlights today. This game was started by Tim Hudson. If you could take away the first inning, pitch real good baseball. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Tim gave up 4 first inning runs, and it was an uphill battle from that point forward. Two more hits for Hayward today, 2 singles. He's also scored a run and has hit the ball hard 4 times.
It's the third start for Tim where he's given up at least 4 runs in the first inning.
So taking nothing away from Gio Gonzalez, sometimes it's not how you pitch, but when. Every time he pitches, they seem to score. Average about 6 runs a game for Gio Gonzalez. The Nats have put 8 on board today.
Well, they got 6 on the board before he got knocked out, so he got his compliment.
LaRoche at first. Clippard to the bag. And the Nationals come to town and take 2 out of 3 from the Braves. Today's final, Washington 8, Atlanta 4. Gio Gonzalez wins his 11th game of the year. He beats Tim Hudson.
Toyota Play of the Game from a guy who had a big game. Ryan Zimmerman's 440-foot blast into the bleachers in left field. His 6th of the year. He drove in 4 runs on the day and scored twice. Quite a day for him, but that homer, our Toyota Play of the game.
Braves now 2-6 against the Nationals, are 4.5 back in the East after Washington wins this series at Turner Field.